Network Entertainment.
The common practice in the Philippines in rice straw, we just burn them on the field. So rice straw, as mentioned, we considered rice straw as a waste, but it's actually very valuable and can produce many products. Like for example, energy. It can be used to produce mushrooms. It can be used to produce feeds for cows and other ruminants. Along that production chain, meron din siyang different pathways to produce those products. And so my paper developed a model that would inform the farmers and even policymakers what is the best product and what is the best processing pathway that will give the most economic benefit and the most environmental benefit.
Sa tuwing nagbabasa kayo ng mga research papers, nagtataka din ba kayo kung paano ito naisipan gawin ng mga researchers? Paano nila na-transform ang idea nila para maging isang actual na research project? Saan sila kumuha ng funding para magawa to? Paano nila nalaman na ang results nila ay pwede na nilang ipasa for publication? Dito, sa Behind the Science podcast, ay kakausapin natin ang ating mga Pinoy scientists para ibahagi hindi lang ang mga resulta ng kanilang pag-aaral, kundi pati na rin ang mga behind the scenes or behind the science stories nito. Simula sa kung paano nila ito naisipan gawin hanggang sa na-publish na nila ito. So this podcast is in partnership with the UP Resilience Institute, the Philippine Agricultural Scientist, the Philippine Journal of Fisheries, and SciEngJ. So ang UP Resilience Institute ay long-time partners na namin dito sa podcast. Nung nagsisimula pa lang kami, nandyan na sila para tumulong sa amin. At para lang sa kaalaman ng lahat, ako ngayon ay isang UPRI Research Fellow. The Philippine Agricultural Scientist is the first international journal in the Philippines and Southeast Asia in the field of agriculture. It is published by the University of the Philippines, Los Baños, College of Agriculture and Food Science. It publishes articles in the fields of tropical agricultural science and related areas including environmental science, food science, engineering, biotechnology, economics, rural sociology, development communication, agroforestry and silviculture, and marine and fishery science. The Philippine Journal of Fisheries is the official publication of the Department of Agriculture, National Fisheries Research and Development Institute. It covers all aspects of fisheries, both in basic and applied sciences, as well as related fields of studies such as capture fisheries, aquaculture, post-harvest technology, marketing and industry, ecology, oceanography, conservation, biotechnology, food safety, socioeconomics, and systematics in freshwater, estuarine, marine, and other identifiable water habitats. SciEngJ, formerly known as the Philippine Science Letters, is the official journal of the Philippine American Academy of Science and Engineering. It covers studies in the natural, physical, mathematical, computational, and social sciences, including those related to agriculture, health, engineering, environment, education, and technology. So kung may paper kayong gustong i-publish at pasok ito sa scope ng mga journals na ito, please consider submitting to one of them. At syempre, importante, take note na hindi kayo pwede mag-submit ng sabay-sabay sa 3 journals na ito. Kasi bawal yon. Dapat sa isang journal muna kayo mag-submit. At ang mga journals na to ay index na rin sa Web of Science, Scopus, ASEAN Citation Index, and sa Imago Journal Ranking. Kaya masisiguro nyo dito ang mataas na standard at mabusisi na review process para masiguro ang high quality papers na pinapublish. So if you're interested in publishing your research in one of these journals, check nyo ang guidelines at ang links ay nasa description. Magandang araw mga kapwa-siyentista at welcome sa isa na namang episode ng Behind the Science podcast. Ako si Paul Flores, ang inyong host, and our guest is an associate professor at UP Los Baños. She graduated magna cum laude and Batch valedictorian with a bachelor's degree in chemical engineering and later earned her master's in the same field, receiving the Academic Achievement Award. She completed her PhD in chemical engineering at De La Salle University, Manila, where she was honored with the Outstanding Dissertation Award. Her research applies process systems engineering to develop optimal carbon reduction strategies, focusing on resource use, economic feasibility, and environmental impact. So without further ado, let's all welcome Dr. Maria Victoria Migo Sumagang.
Hello! Nice to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yun, so welcome po sa podcast, Ma'am Ria. So bago pala tayo magsimula, no, kung nag enjoy kayo sa podcast at gusto nyo ang ginagawa namin dito, paki-like naman ang episode na ito at mag-subscribe na rin kayo sa mga social media platforms ng Behind the Science Podcast. So makikita nyo kami sa Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcast, and Facebook. At paki-rate na rin kami ng 5 stars para mas madami pa yung audience na maabot natin. So ang topic natin today, so as I mentioned earlier si Ma'am Ria ay multi-awarded scientist from bachelor's to PhD hanggang ngayon. At ang paper na pag-uusapan natin actually ay nanalo ng Outstanding Scientific Paper Award from NAST. So for anyone hindi familiar sa NAST, so ito yung National Academy of Science and Technology. So siya yung highest na recognition body for science and technology dito sa Pilipinas. Yung paper pala na to, ito ay tungkol sa paggawa ng isang decision support tool para sa sustainable and profitable na pag-manage ng rice straw. Ano po ba yung Tagalog nun, ma'am? Dayami ba? Or may ibang term?
Baka dayami nga yung Tagalog ng rice straw. Hindi ko rin sure rice straw din tawag ganun. Even if kausap ko yung farmer's rice straw din ang tawag.
Ganun din yung term na tawag po nila. Wala
Or
silang
hindi
parang
nila,
local term.
parang ina-accept lang nila yung language na ano, sila yung accepting ng language. Pero baka may iba silang tawag.
Ayan. And then on a related episode pala tungkol din sa on reducing yung carbon footprint ng rice production. Please check episode 23. Ang naging guest namin doon ay si Engineer Eros Estante. So ang ginawa niya naman sa rice straw ay ginawa siyang biogas. So please check for
Kilala ko
anyone
siya.
interested.
Mm.
Okay.
Kasama ko siya sa department.
Magka-batch po kami from magkaklase kami nung elementary.
Oh, okay, small world.
Ayun, so for anyone, please check episode 23. And then on a related episode din tungkol sa pag-reduce nung carbon footprint, please check. Nakalimutan ko yung episode number. Basta yung pinag-usapan naman namin ay yung pagpakain ng probiotics sa mga karabaw para ma-reduce yung methane emission. Si Sir Christian Loalhati, assistant professor din sa UPLB sa Institute of Animal Science. So please check episode 77. Bago natin pag-usapan yung naging research ni Ma'am Ria, so mas kilalanin muna natin siya, no? So ma'am, first question po, ano po ang sikreto nyo para maging isang multi-awarded na scientist?
Wala namang secret. More on just doing the work. Kasi, syempre, nandyan na yung research eh. Ang kailangan mo ay um, just do the work. Wala akong maisip. Wala akong secret. Yun. More on, ito pala. Ang pinaka-important ingredient is collaborating outside your institution. So, not just, for example, I'm from UPLB. It's very important to collaborate outside UPLB and even outside the country. That way kasi, it ensures that your research is high quality. At the same time, it will gain more audience and therefore citation. So may much more visibility yung research. And with that, if your research is more visible, then you will get recognized more. Yan.
Pero kapag ginagawa nyo po yung research, ma'am, hindi nyo talaga iniisip na, ay, ito yung gagawin ko para magka-ganito akong award.
Hindi.
it just follows.
Hindi ko iniisip yung award. Ang iniisip ko kung ano yung gusto kong gawin. So right now, I'm doing computational research to decarbonize agriculture and manufacturing industries. Yun yung gusto kong gawin, that's my advocacy. So lahat ng research ko is about that. Uh, and even my thesis students, ganun din yung topics na ina-advise ko to my thesis students. But I do not think na mag-apply sa awards at the start. Siguro after, pag meron na akong portfolio or results like this one, yung mentors ko, they encouraged me to apply for the NAS outstanding paper. So, not really na you think about the awards late
Mm.
at the beginning. So you think about the awards after the work.
Mm.
Yan.
Ah, ayun. So, sa mga students dyan na nakikinig na nanood, na nagka-conceptualize ng mga thesis topic or mga ano nila. So, wag nyo muna agad isipin yung mga ano, mga award. So, focus muna kayo sa research question na may enjoy nyong isolve. So, ayun.
I agree.
So, kayo po ma'am, bakit naman po kayo nag-chemical engineering?
Actually, mahabang story yan. Ah, ang first choice ko talaga ay computer science. Pero, ang nilagay ko sa UPCAT ay chemical engineering because of the influence of my parents. But after graduation, I worked in the tech industry, specifically at Hewlett Packard, the laptops and printers maker for 7 years.
Ah,
After that, I got bored na with my last role as a project manager, and so I returned and I also don't want to work in Manila. I don't want the environment. So I went back to UPLB, to my alma mater, and applied as an instructor. So parang 180-degree career turn siya. I felt na I was back at square one. Uh, but then, it was more meaningful for me kasi yung pagiging teacher is a very meaningful job.
mm,
I don't know if you're a teacher, but
hindi pa
if
po.
okay, if you have experience teaching, guiding, mentoring students, the younger generation, there's really a sense of purpose and fulfillment in that job. So I like that. But in terms of research, I was a newbie researcher, and I had a lot of help along the way from different mentors. So there, hindi ko talaga, kumbaga parang ChemEng was just something that was uh,
Parang nangyari na lang.
advised. Parang, oo, hindi ko talaga siya ginusto, pero dito ako napunta. But in the end, since I like computers, computer science, now I'm doing computational research. So I still went back to my original interest.
Uy, HP, baka naman naghanap kami ng sponsors dito.
Matagal na akong di affiliated sa kanila. So dati may discount kami as employees, and we can give out
Ah,
discounts sa laptops. Pero ngayon, hindi na ako affiliated. So,
magkano po yung discount na nakukuha nyo?
um,
Benefit talaga yan as an employee.
mm. Hindi ko ma-remember exact figure, pero hindi naman super laki. Siguro mga 30% off. Mga ganun. 40% off. Ganun. Mm-mm.
Nice. Tapos nung nagturo na po kayo sa LB, I guess doon na rin kayo parang ni-require din na mag-graduate school to continue yung yung teaching.
Actually, uh, requirement siya to get a tenure. Kung gusto mo mag-academe, kailangan continuing professional development ka. So, kailangan mag-MS and then makapublish. Tapos PhD. Pero yung PhD is not required na, but it's good for your promotion in the academe. So, during my during my teaching, I worked part-time as an instructor, and also I took my MS in UPLB, MS in Chemical Engineering. At that time, I received a thesis scholarship at the International Rice Research Institute. Familiar ka ba? IRI.
Apa.
IRI. Oo. So, they gave me, very, very thankful ako sa kanila. They gave me a scholarship kasi wala naman akong grant for my thesis, for my master's thesis. Libre yung MS ko in terms of the coursework, but for the funding for my thesis, wala. So I took the scholarship and I worked on rice, specifically rice straw. Doon nag-start lahat. Um, so my thesis was more on finding other uses for rice straw. Kasi, as you know, the common practice in the Philippines, in rice straw, we just burn them on the field or incorporate them in the field. Siguro nakwento na ni Eros yun, no?
Apa.
And like Eros use it for biogas, right? So for me naman, I use it as alternative fuel for paddy drying. Kasi yung bigas naman, 'di ba, ang ginagawa naman natin sa Philippines, the common practice is to dry them on concrete and pavement, which is very dangerous and very inefficient. So mechanical or drying through oven is getting more popular, but it uses fossil fuels. So why not use the byproduct or waste from rice production, which is rice straw, as fuel for paddy drying. So, yun yung research ko. And doon ko na-gather yung kailangan kong data, like mga manual labor requirements, the energy requirements, fuel, diesel requirements, and other data. So, that was my master's. Ituloy ko na ba?
Ay, sige. Yung tapos yung sa PhD po,
Okay.
tinuloy niyo po siya or parang nag-ibang topic kayo?
Um, ano siya, so yung second half nung master's thesis ko, so that was the first half, the experiment. As in, nasa field ako, pilot scale, ano siya paddy dryer. I remember that I even drove their diplomatic trucks, yung mga pickup trucks ng Erie with the blue plate, kasi nga I have to carry the equipment to the field. So talagang hardcore na experiment. But the second half was life cycle assessment, specifically uh, GHG, carbon dioxide emissions, and energy footprint analysis. Doon ako nag-enjoy, doon sa second half, doon sa computational part. Kasi I realized that even though, so I thought that maganda yung I mean rice straw as fuel for paddy
Mm.
dryer as compared to open field burning, which is true, maganda siya in a way, but there is still a chance na maging emissions producing siya rather than emissions reducing. So hindi ko na imagine that the results can also be the opposite, that based on what I expected. And it's because we were using an electric motor for the paddy dryer. So electricity is very it relies on our electric grid, but the electric grid is powered by fossil fuels, mainly coal for the Philippines. So it means that it's not enough, no, that we just use the rice straw to fuel the paddy dryer, kasi nga we're still using electricity. So we have to solve that other problem. Ayun. And that was shown through computational research, through life cycle analysis, that you cannot um, have known if you did not continue your research to life cycle analysis. So that's when I started to like computational research. So
Mm.
for my PhD, ayoko na mag-experiment siguro,
Mm.
because I hindi naman traumatized, but there were lots of mishaps in the field. May mga small accidents. So And that was pandemic during that time, so I cannot really go to the lab, or I kailangan maraming permits to go to the lab. So I
Mm.
chose a PhD topic that's purely computational. And because I
Ah,
like programming, I chose to learn mathematical programming or mathematical modeling, and that was the tool that I used for my PhD.
ayun. So since medyo nabigyan na tayo ng konting backstory ni Ma'am Ria tungkol sa research niya, I guess mag-focus na tayo dun sa research paper natin ngayon. So ang title nito ay A P-Graph Approach for Planning Sustainable Rice-Straw Management Networks. So Ma'am Ria, can you explain muna yung paper nyo na to? Tungkol saan ba ito in one sentence?
In one sentence, uh, so rice straw, as mentioned, we considered rice straw as a waste, but it's actually very valuable and can produce many products. Like, for example, energy. In my case, heat energy. It can be used to produce mushrooms. It can be used to produce feeds for cows and other ruminants. And along that production chain, meron din siyang different pathways to produce those products. And so my paper developed a model that would inform the farmers and even policymakers what is the best product and what is the best processing pathway that will give the most economic benefit and the most environmental benefit. Ayun. Hindi yun one sentence.
Okay lang po. Curious po ako dun sa word na P-graph. Ano po yung ibig sabihin ng P-graph?
Process graph. Isa lang siyang computational tool. Just like we have Excel, Microsoft Excel, na may solver. Just like MATLAB and other computational tool, GAMS, Lingo. So PGraph is
Ah,
just like that, a computational tool. Mm.
ah, so para din siyang kumbaga machine learning, parang ganun.
Hindi siya machine learning kasi hindi, in a way na hindi natututo yung model on its own, just like in machine learning. Here, pinoprogram ko siya. Parang, uh, I first develop the structure, the network structure. So, you can see in the paper, may network structure. And then, I input the data. So, different data on the manual labor requirements, diesel, rice straw availability. And then,
Mm.
the P-graph solver would first select all the feasible networks, kasi hindi naman possible na lahat ng network mo hindi feasible, may ibang infeasible. And then it will use a solver. A solver is like an algorithm. No, hindi, medyo technical na siya, pero ginagamit din sa machine learning actually yung algorithm, the same solver, no. Pero for in our case sa P-graph, it will just look for the optimal solution. Yun. So
Mm.
it would give you the optimal solution, in this case in terms of economics, yung most profitable na product. Ayun.
Kasi ini-imagine ko po yung sinasabi niyong network. So for example, ano, siguro imaginein ko na lang siya na parang Google Maps. So for
Mm.
example, dito ako, tapos may pupuntahan akong lugar, tapos si Google Maps may isa-suggest na ruta na pwede kong kunin. Tapos yung P-graph parang magsasuggest din siya ng parang iba-ibang process na gagawin mo dun sa rice straw para ma-reduce yung carbon emission. Parang ganun.
Actually, that's a very good analogy.
Interesting.
Na-explain mo in a very simple way. Good job. So, ganun siya. Parang it will look for the optimal route
Mm.
to get to the optimal product. Siguro ang difference lang with Google Map, in Google Map you just have one destination. But in the P-graph, you can have multiple products.
So yung P-graph po parang general terminology siya na sa ganong process na maghahanap ka ng optimal route dun sa network na sinasabi niyo.
Para siyang more on a framework na may 3 steps. Hindi siya parang MS Excel na ginawa ni Microsoft. Para siyang more on framework that is free for all, and it was first published, I forgot ko anong year, pero kumbaga it's like an open source software or something. Pero in the framework may 3 steps. Una, yung paggawa ng maximal structure. So yun yung buong network mo, yung all possible structure. And then yung second step would be selecting all the feasible networks lang. Tatanggalin niya yung mga infeasible. So meron kasi siyang mga rules like kailangan, isang example ng rule ay kailangan yung final product mo is naka-connect siya sa isang unit operation na naka-connect sa isang raw material. So parang hindi sa logic, 'di ba? Hindi ka pwede magkaroon ng final product na walang raw material. So may mga fina-follow siyang rules. Kaya tuloy do sa second step, tinatanggal niya yung mga infeasible na pathways based dun sa rules, and ang tawag niya doon ay axioms. And then the final step, yun na yung paggamit ng solver, which is branch and bound technique, na ginagamit din yung branch and bound technique sa ibang solver. So common naman sa ibang solvers yun, para hanapin yung optimal solution. In that way, mas efficient si P-graph compared to other solvers because of that framework, yung 3 steps na yun. So maganda siyang tool. But it's just like any other tool that you can use. You can use MS Excel for the same case study that I did. You can use Lingo, MATLAB for the same study that I did. It's just that na advantage ni P-graph, as you can see in the paper, visually niya pinapakita yung network. At the same time, automatically siya nagge-generate ng suboptimal solution. So when we say a suboptimal solution, these are alternative, parang yung next best solution. And bakit important na merong alternative solution? Because sometimes the optimal solution is not the best. What do I mean? Minsan hindi siya robust. Parang konting changes lang in supply, hindi na siya mag-work. Baka yung best solution actually is the suboptimal or the next optimal. So, automatically niyan, pinapakita yung next best. For a decision maker, that is important kasi for a decision maker, gusto ng decision maker may interaction siya or meron siyang participation in the decision making. So, some of the solvers parang they act just like a black box na you input, then you output the result. Hindi mo ma-explain yung result, and basta yan na yung optimal solution. But in P-graph, for the decision maker to see, make sense niya na ito yung set of alternative solution, rank from best to worst, but I can still choose, which is for a decision maker is a very important aspect in the decision making.
So, yung itong study po na to, ma'am, purely ano siya, 'di ba? Purely modeling or may
Yes.
kinuha din kayo ng
This particular paper is purely computational. But the data that I cited, as makikita mo sa paper, I cited my master's thesis paper. So, yung data ay na-generate ko ng master's thesis ko. But the model, the computational model, I did during my PhD.
Okay. Curious din po ako dun sa model, ma'am, kasi 'di ba sabi nyo sa mga models meron kang input and meron kang output. So can you share din po ano yung mga inputs na kailangan dito? So aside dun sa rice straw, ano pa yung other inputs na kailangan?
So for this, sinelect ko, so kada step no nung sa rice, from rice straw to the production of different products, may madaming steps kasi may rice straw collection from the field. Doon nagsimula eh kasi yung rice straw nakakalat lang sa field. Then may pre-treatment. Then may yun na yung different uh, products. So in each step, ang kinonsider ko for this model would be the manual labor requirement and the diesel requirement. Ayun. So kada um, step sa supply chain, meron siyang i-output. So for example, kung ibe-bale ba siya, so bale straw yung output. Then from the bale straw, ano yung next step? Kinonsider ko rin actually na i-pellet siya or gawing biogas, biochar. So, um, yun. So, yun yung mga inputs. Rice straw, manual labor, and diesel.
Ah,
Yun yung main inputs kasi sa paggawa ng mga products. But of course, I do not claim na yun lang. So iba may, pero those three are the most significant.
so siguro recap ko lang po kung tama yung pagkaintindi ko muna dun sa method. So basically, yung P-graph, um, decision support tool siya para malaman mo anong gagawin mo dun sa rice straw. So kumbaga, yun yung gagawin mong input, yung rice straw, yung manual
Labor.
labor, tapos yung diesel, yun ang ilalagay mo na input sa model. Tapos yung ilalabas na output ng model ay kung ano yung gagawin dun sa rice straw, like gagawing pellet, biogas, or for other uses.
Correct,
Tama po ba?
correct. Yes, yes.
So, ngayon po, ano naman ang nakita niyong result dito sa study?
Hmm. So, pag modeling kasi, we have to be careful with the results kasi it's location and condition specific. For this specific case study, I saw that mushroom production is the most profitable, followed by, so I also included the other suboptimal solution. I think ang next ay rice straw pellets and then fodder, which is feed for ruminants. Now, um, that was for this specific case study, but as the reviewer, so the journal that published this paper is Philippine Agricultural Scientist, and the reviewer actually cautioned me that the interpretation should be um you should take with caution. Kaya naglagay ako ng disclaimer sa conclusion na of course this result is just specific for these conditions, no, but if you the inputs would be different, then it might um result to a different conclusion or optimal solution. So
Mm.
yun, but I think mushroom production is very profitable based din sa literature review ko. In Vietnam, for example, they do a lot of mushroom production using rice straw. So yun, parang missed opportunity siya sa atin kasi nga, although may mga nagra-rice straw production naman sa Philippines, pero not that a big industry, no?
Mm.
Yun, but they do not realize that actually it can be very profitable.
Kanina po ma'am, may binanggit kayo na yung optimal solution hindi siya necessarily parang the best kasi hindi robust yung kumbaga result. So dito po in your case, how do you actually test yung robustness ng ano
Mm-mm.
tawag doon? Yung robustness ng model nyo or kung accurate ba talaga yung namomodel nyo?
Mm. Very good question. So meron akong case study scenarios. Nag-test ako ng baseline, which is everything is available, all the resources. And then I also tested disruption scenarios. So what if um well the diesel supply is cut, or because we transition from diesel to renewable. So, but the machineries, hindi pa sila nakaka-adjust. So, parang we just cut the diesel. What if ganun yung scenario? What if there's no manual labor? For example, there are no farmers because the next generation do not want to be farmers. So, walang manual labor. The other disruption is wala mismong rice straw or nakat din yung supply ng rice straw. And then, I tested, I put a limit dun sa mga resources na yon, and I tested the results, no, for those disruptive scenarios. So that's how I test um the robustness of the
Ah,
model. Ayun.
pero yung pagpili po ng mga ganong disruptions, gaano siya ka-realistic na kumbaga scenario? Do you interview din yung mga farmers kung ano ba yung mga disruptions na na-experience nila, or from literature lang to na ano, parang basis?
Mm. Well, since sa area ko nag-work, ang dami ko ng exposure about um, rice and rice straw. Als- Although hindi ko naka-interact yung farmer for to ask them ano yung disruption scenario, we had some workshops with different stakeholders. Like there were uh, owners of rice farms, ganon,
Mm.
and also uh, mga researcher and also stakeholders from the government. So, based from na hindi naman talaga tinanong ko sila na ano yung mga disruption. Based lang sa mga trends na naririnig ko, like yung nga yung, for example, yung paunti na paunti yung mga farmers natin,
Mm.
um, as in for the manual labor, but they're being replaced naman with the machineries. So based lang dun sa mga trends na nakikita ko, that's how I formulated the disruption scenarios, which was reviewed naman by the Philippine Agricultural Scientists pool of reviewers.
Kanina po may sinabi kayo na na-surprise kayo sa ano, sa result. So can you expound po sa ano, bakit kayo na-surprise?
Mm, I think that was yung ano, yung sa MS paper ko pa, which is the carbon emissions from rice straw as heat source for paddy drying. I was expecting that its carbon emissions would be lower compared to the rice straw, I mean, open field burning rice straw and rice straw incorporation. Actually, what I got was a range of value. Let me pull up that old paper sa aking. So, the results actually told me, teka, so, possible siya magkaroon ng negative emissions, possible din magkaroon ng positive or actual emissions. So, pag negative emissions, that means there's an emission reduction. So, I
Mm.
thought na when I use it for rice straw to replace, when I use it for fuel to replace fossil fuel, it will just result to emissions reduction. But actually, no. Possible pa rin na it would result to actual emissions. Kasi nga, we
Ah,
were using a motor, electric motor, to run the paddy dryer. And the electricity is still based on fossil fuels. Yun. So, important yung computational research kasi you
mm.
might be thinking na you're doing good for the environment, but actually pala,
Ah.
may mga hindi ka nakikita. Yun.
Yung pag-measure nung mga ganitong carbon emissions ma'am, paano po ba siya ginagawa?
Actually, meron ng ano, database, okay, of conversion factors or global warming potential. So, for
Mm.
example, meron kang electricity na galing sa Philippines. Tapos, yung electric mix ng Philippines ay 50% coal. I forgot the other 50%. The other 50% can be from renewables or natural gas. Then, based on the global warming potential of coal and those um, renewable energy, you will get a conversion factor na every kilowatt of electricity that you use in the Philippines, iba't iba to per country, would result to this a value of
Mm.
carbon dioxide emission. So that's um conversion factors na. No? Yun. So in LCA, they automated that using the software. So may nakakonect na yung database sa software, but you can do it manually. So you can do it in Excel. You just get the conversion factors sa or pag GHG, we call it global warming potential of each of the compounds that you release or use or utilize. And then you multiply that with the amount of material that you use, then you get the equivalent carbon dioxide emissions.
Tapos yung software nyo po pala na 'to, ma'am, yung PGraph network, available ba siya like online? May GUI ba na downloadable na pwedeng magamit ng mga tao or or wala pa?
Mm, graphical user interface
Mm.
meron. Just Google pgraph Studio. Let me check kung ano yung exact no, pgraph.org. pgraph.org. Then go to downloads. Ayun. So, mada-download siya. May tutorial na din um, doon sa website.
So ida-download nila yung PGraph na yun tapos sundan lang nila yung network na ginawa nyo dito sa study tapos mare-replicate na nila yung
Pwede.
ginawa nyo.
Pwede. Pwede nilang i-replicate lahat ng data nandyan sa study. And actually, madali lang siya aralin. Sa Malaysia, tinuturo nila sa high school. Malaysia ba or basta sa ibang bansa, high school pa lang tinuturuan na nila ng PGraph.
Nice. Ang galing. Ay, um, 'di ba kayo po ay ano din, registered associate ASEAN engineer? Ano
Yes,
pong
yes.
ano pong ibig sabihin nun?
Mm, so, in our country, di ba, if may mga licenses tayo, like I'm a licensed chemical engineer here kasi I took the board exam and passed the board exam, kaya ako may PRC ID. Parang it's another certification, but this time it's recognized by all the ASEAN region.
Ah,
So you have to apply for it. Hindi siya exam, more on sa experience siya. And they consider project management experience. So dapat nag-handle ka naging project leader ka or naging project staff ka. At the same time, they consider your other merits, accomplishments like say your work experience and your publications, kasama yun. And then there's a reviewing body in the Philippines. They will review um, if your merits can be accepted or you check all the boxes, parang ganun.
mm.
And then they award you the title.
Ah, interesting.
Basta meron kang PRC license, meron kang at least 2 years na project management experience, and parang more 5 years yata na work experience. Pwedeng overlapping yung 2 at 5 yata. You can apply for associate. So, kailangan ko na nga din mag-upgrade kasi associate pa lang. So, I need to upgrade to the ASEAN, yung hindi na associate. Yung,
May iba-ibang levels din pala siya.
you start first with associate and then you become full-fledged uh, ASEAN engineer.
Ah, ayun. So going back pala ano dun sa naging study ni Ma'am Ria. So again, summarize ko lang. Basically, nag-develop sila ng decision support tool para makatulong sa mga decision makers natin kung ano yung gagawin doon sa rice straw para maka-reduce ng carbon emissions and also maging profitable din. And for anyone interested doon sa study nila, check nyo ang link sa description at pwede nyo ma-replicate yung ginawa nila by downloading yung PGraph nga na nabanggit natin earlier. So check nyo yung website ng PGraph and then sundan nyo yung methods at marireplicate nyo yung ginawa nila.
Yes.
So, ayun. I guess, discuss naman po natin yung more on behind the scenes naman nung study.
Okay.
So, how did you feel po nung nakuha nyo naman yung Outstanding Paper Award?
Ah, medyo surprise. Oo. Kasi very competitive yung award na yun. So, I was very surprised and happy at the same time kasi na-recognize yung work, which is first kasi from parang sa class kasi nag-start yun PhD class under kay Sir Mike Promentilla. The course was entitled Cleaner Production for Sustainability, something like that. And then dun ako natuto mag-P-graph. Then from the class, I made that side project. I presented that in a conference. And then from the conference, I wrote the full paper and submitted to PAS, to Philippine Agricultural
Ah.
Scientists. And then once na na-publish siya, in-encourage ako ni Sir Mike and my PhD advisors to submit to NAST. And
Mm.
hindi ko in-expect kasi nga nagsasubmit naman ako ng mga papers before for best paper pero hindi sila na-accept. Like yung paper ko nung MS, I also submitted them for best paper award but they did not get the award. But this
Mm.
time, ayun. So siguro dapat mag-try lang ng mag-try para makuha mo din. The more chances of winning, ganun, parang
Ah.
ganun.
Tsaka, ang interesting din po ng point nyo kanina na present nyo sa conference tapos sinulat yung paper. And I
Mm,
guess sa mga students na nagtitesis, isang strategy din yun para magkaroon kayo ng progression sa write-up
mm.
nyo. I-present nyo sa conference
True,
para
true,
napapersa din kayo magsulat.
true. Actually, lahat ng thesis students ko, although hindi required sa graduation, nire-require ko internally na mag-present sila sa conference. Ay, kung mura lang yung fee, ako pa yung nagbabayad ng fee, kung mura lang.
Mm.
So, important talaga yung conference presentation. As in, dun kasi talaga you are important siya because you are disseminating
Mm.
your work. Walang sense kung hindi mo siya i-share sa world. Parang wala lang. Para kang nag-diary lang sa bahay tapos walang nakakabasa. So, conference presentation is the first step. Publication is the next. Yun ang aking parang sinusundan na uh, in terms of dissemination. Ayun.
Ah. Kasi yung isang problem din kasi na nakikita ko minsan yung tingin ng mga tao sa mga conference ay libreng bakasyon somewhere, lalo na pag yung conference ay international or sa ibang lugar sa Pilipinas. Yung
Ah,
parang magpe-present lang on the day ng presentation tapos yung ibang days bibisitahin na yung mga tourist destinations doon.
yung
So
nawawala na lang bigla do'n sa conference, ta's konti na lang kayong attendees. Wala hindi ko naman sila judge kasi, okey din naman kung kailangan nila ng rest and relaxation, pero important na ano, makipag-network. Parang dapat i-grab yung opportunity to network with other researchers. Magdala kayo ng business card, i-distribute niyo gano'n,
mm,
magpakilala. Very important 'yun. 'Yun ang tinuro sa'kin ng mga mentors ko. As in, kung saan nila ako dinadala na conference, papakilala talaga nila ako kung sino-sinong mga collaborators nila.
mm,
And I appreciate that kasi ngayon, ang dami ko tuloy parang network connections sa iba't ibang institution outside the Philippines dahil pinakilala na nila ako dun sa mga taong yun. So, important yun, the network.
mm. Dito po pala sa study niyo na 'to, ma'am, ano yung naging funding situation nito? Ano yung funding source at magkano yung kinailangan to do this study?
For this particular paper, wala. It's free kasi purely computational and libre lahat nung software na ginamit ko. Tas yung data, I cited my old paper. But the data, as I've mentioned, to generate that data, I had a thesis scholarship from IRI, International Rice Research Institute. Kung magkano man yung nagastos, hindi ko sure. Kasi ang kagandahan sa IRI, ang ganda nung ano nila setup nila. Kahit anong kailangan mo, maglalag ka lang sa system. Sila na bahala. After a few days, next day, nandyan na yung kailangan mo. So, walang problema yung purchasing ko sa ERI, yung support nila sa funding, kasi international ano siya, tapos ang funder ay German government dito sa Rystro na to. So, tapos may insurance pa ako nung nagte-thesis nung nagte-thesis ako sa kanila as in health insurance. So,
Nice.
mahal yung nagastos nila sa akin pero I think sana sa tingin nila sulit naman kasi dalawang papers yung
Mm.
na-publish parehong mataas na impact factor naman based sa study. So, sana nasulitan din sila. The way na feeling ko, parang sana mutual yung feeling namin with each other na ako nagandahan ako doon sa research, nasulitan ako and sila din
Mm.
working with me.
Yung IRI po ba, under siya ng UPLB or ibang agency talaga siya? Doon lang yung office sa ano,
Iba
sa
siya,
UP.
iba siya. It's just that it's located within the campus of UPLB but it's an independent NGO. So ano din siya parang familiar ka ba sa SIRCA? Yung mga ASEAN
Ah,
so
narinig ko na siya.
so ganun din sila they apply for funding. In fact, dati si Bill Gates parang isa sa funder nila, isa sa sponsor nila. Nagpunta si Bill Gates sa IRI daw. So, di ko sure, hindi ko
Ah,
nakita. Pero,
ay
ayun,
narinig ko din yan.
ayun, yun. Ganun
Ah,
sila. Okay sila.
dito po sa study, ano yung matatawag mo na pinakamahirap na part in doing this study?
Yung pinakamahirap na part ay siguro yung explaining the uncertainties
Mm.
in the data and in the model. Kasi, like what I've mentioned, yung result ng model, ang sinasabi niya, mushroom production yung best. Pero sabi ng reviewer, you cannot say that. No, I appreciate talaga yung mga reviewers. No, you cannot conclude that it's generally true for in all cases. So, dapat meron kang disclaimer that it's location and um,
Mm.
site specific. So, aside from that, yung mga uncertainty, syempre yung pag-measure mo ng data, so exact values yung nilagay ko eh. Pero, di ba uncertain naman yung plus minus. So, and iba na talaga, like they said, may saying talaga na all models are wrong.
Ah,
Kasi they don't reflect the real world eh. But some are useful. So,
mm.
nandun tayo sa, we're trying to make useful models na where we can get insights, no,
Mm.
useful insights that we can share with the decision makers, farmers, policy makers.
And I guess sa lahat ng modeling study, I think yun talaga yung pinakamahirap eh kasi yung modeling meron kang equation you can solve for anything. Yung pinakamahirap i-analyze mo kung may sense ba yung yung output ng
True,
model mo at kung
true.
uncertain
Mm.
siya.
True, true. Icha-challenge talaga yan ng reviewer. Parang, paano mo masasabi na um, talagang yan yung kumbaga, kaya important yung sensitivity analysis.
Mm.
So, dapat may, ang tawag doon mga post-modeling analysis. So, sensitivity analysis, uncertainty analysis, robustness analysis. So, important step yon. Pero, just like, equal lang din siya with experimental studies. Kasi sa experiments, meron din namang uncertainties, may
Ah,
noise. So, sa tingin ko, hindi better in any way ang experiment than computational kasi uncertain may uncertainties din naman
mm,
sa pag-experimental. Ayun.
ayun. Nag-geophysics din kasi ako kaya ano din ako sa mga yung mga modeling studies, yung
Mm.
talagang sinasabi sa iyo parang take it with a grain of salt na
Mm.
ano, although parang very convincing yung results nila, important na ma-recognize mo yung mga limitations na ginawa nila sa model
True.
and wag
True.
mo i-accept as 100% true. Parang
True,
parang
true.
ganun.
Kaya important din na kino-compare mo with the literature, bina-back up mo with literature citations,
Mm.
kino-compare mo sa ginawa ng iba and you explain ano yung kung may difference, bakit iba yung naging result mo sa result nila. Kung same, bakit same. So, important yung discussion na yon.
So dito po sa study niyo, at what point did you realize na pwede nyo na siyang ipasa for publication?
Hmm, yung most exciting part kasi sa computational research is when you run the model and you get sensible results. Ayun, kasi iterative actually ang modeling. So, laging yung mga una mong tries may fail, may error. So, pag nag-work tapos yung results ay may sense and you can back it up with your expert knowledge and back it up with literature, then more or less parang and then you also do the post-modeling analysis. More or less, you can be confident to publish that, to submit it for publication.
And then moving forward po, ano yung plans niyo with this research?
So I still plan to ang mission ko talaga is to uh, using computational research decarbonize agriculture and manufacturing industries. So going back full circle, I mentioned that I work in the tech industry. No, as an IT consultant, I supported the manufacturing industries in terms of their production planning. But now I want to support them in a different way, in the sense that I want to help them reduce their carbon emissions. So now I have partnered with various researchers from different institutions, uh, from researchers doing bioplastic production to recycled paper making and energy systems. So lahat yon ay magko-contribute to my goal, which is the carbon emissions reduction for agriculture and manufacturing industries.
Ayun. So almost 1 hour na rin po tayo. Magra-wrap up na po tayo. So before we let you go po, ma'am, ano po ang mga advice nyo sa mga aspiring researchers?
Okay, so tamang-tama yan kasi I just got back from a conference last week, academic
Mm.
conference for computational research, and I really enjoyed that. One thing that I realized is that in research, you are all equal. So whether you're from a low-income country or a high-income country, the Philippines is actually a lower middle income country. And I realized that um, you should not, or I should not, we should not think that we are inferior nor superior because everyone has the same value and everyone has something to offer the world. So, yun ang advice ko sa mga researchers.
Yun. And last question po, do you have anything to promote?
Opo, meron akong gustong i-promote. In 2026, hopefully, at ma-release yung book namin. Ang title ay A Beginner's Guide to Sustainable Energy Systems Modeling and Optimization. So, para po ito sa mga beginners in mathematical modeling and optimization. Ang co-authors ko po ay galing sa Swinburne University of Technology, Malaysia, and Széchenyi István University, Hungary. And another one is I would like to reach out to industrial partners who want to collaborate in decarbonizing their processes. So, marami po akong thesis students na eager to solve real-world problems. And if you are from the industry and you're willing to share your data, we can work together to do something meaningful with a real climate benefit. Yun po.
Ayun. So, I guess hanggang dito na lang muna tayo. Sana nakapagbigay din kami ng bagong information sa inyo tungkol sa sustainability or pag-reduce ng carbon emissions ng
Yes.
rice production. So, ayun,
Thank you
maraming
very
salamat po, Ma'am
much.
Ria, sa pagpapaunlak ng aming imbitasyon.
Thank you din, and I really like what you're doing here, Dr. Flores or Paul.
Yes, thank you
Please
po.
continue the good work.
Yes po. Thank you po. Maraming salamat din sa lahat ng nakinig at nanood. See you everyone next week. Madami pa tayong pag-uusapan na research na ginagawa ng ating mga Pinoy scientists.
The opinions of podcast creators, hosts, and guests are not necessarily reflective of the official stance of the Pod Network Entertainment, its hosts, or other network programs. The content created by the people behind the podcast is personal and not meant to harm any religion, ethnicity, group, organization, company, or individual.